Underrated movie reviews and news.
There are great movies, and then there are great experiences. The Mask of Zorro is both. It's an epic swashbuckling adventure with action, romance, humour and heart. A film that has everything a movie lover could want. But despite being a box office hit and receiving critical acclaim when it was released in 1998, it's still somewhat underrated today. It's time to fix that. In this video, we're celebrating The Mask of Zorro by diving into why it works, exploring its rich history, incredible cast, practical effects and unforgettable music, and uncovering why it still stands the test of time. Before we get into why The Mask of Zorro works, let's talk about his legacy. Zorro is one of the earliest and most enduring cinematic heroes. First introduced in Johnston McCulley's 1919 novel, The Curse of Capistrano, Zorro became an instant sensation, a masked avenger fighting for justice in Spanish California. Over the decades, Zorro appeared in countless films, serials and TV shows. From the silent era to the golden age of Hollywood, he inspired the creation of other masked heroes including Batman. But by the 1990s, the character hadn't seen a major live-action adaptation in years, and there was a real risk he'd fade into obscurity. That's where director Martin Campbell came in. Fresh off the success of revitalising James Bond with GoldenEye, Campbell was the perfect choice to bring Zorro back to the big screen. Together with a talented team of writers including John Esco, Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio, who you might recognise as the writers of Shrek and Pirates of the Caribbean, he crafted a story that honoured Zorro's legacy while making it fresh and exciting for modern audiences. The film's mix of old-school swashbuckling and sleek, big-budget action resonated with audiences and critics alike, earning over $250 million at the box office and even snagging a few award nominations. But what makes The Mask of Zorro truly special is how it combines spectacle with substance. Let's break it down. At the heart of The Mask of Zorro is its incredible cast. Let's start with Anthony Hopkins as Don Diego de la Vega, the original Zorro. Hopkins had already cemented himself as one of the greatest actors of his generation, and here, he brings a gravitas and emotional depth that elevates the entire movie. Diego is a man who's lost everything, his wife, his daughter, his freedom, but he never loses his sense of justice. Hopkins captures that perfectly, balancing wisdom, sorrow, and quiet determination. And yes, he's Welsh, not Spanish, but his performance is so charismatic and heartfelt that it transcends any concerns about casting.
Let me hold her! Raphael!
She has her mother's eyes.
Raphael! You'll never be rid of me!
Then there's Antonio Banderas as Alejandro Murrieta. Banderas was already a rising star, but this role made him an icon. Alejandro's journey from a reckless outlaw to a noble hero is one of the film's greatest strengths. Banderas brings humour, charm and intensity to the role, and his physicality in the action scenes is unmatched. He is Zorro.
Did you miss me?
And Catherine Zeta-Jones? She's not just breathtakingly beautiful, she's also fierce, intelligent, and completely magnetic. Elena isn't a passive damsel in distress, she's a vital part of the story, with her own arc and moments to shine. Her chemistry with Banderas is electric, especially in their now iconic sword fight, as well as the dance scene. Finally, Stuart Wilson as Don Rafael Montero is a masterclass in subtle villainy. He's cunning, manipulative, and every bit as dangerous as you'd want a Zorro villain to be. He's the kind of antagonist you love to hate, and his scenes with Hopkins crackle with tension.
You would murder 3 innocent men just to capture me?
I would murder 100 innocent men if it meant killing you.
3 men, 3 gods. A small memento of Mexico. Raphael. To remind you not to return.
One of the standout features of The Mask of Zorro is its use of practical effects and stunts. This isn't a film that relies on green screens or CGI. When Zorro swings from a rope or leaps from a building, you feel the weight and reality of those stunts. The sword play is particularly impressive. Banderas trained extensively to make the choreography look authentic, and it shows. Every duel is crisp, precise, and filled with personality. The action sequences aren't just thrilling, they're artfully crafted, with a sense of geography and rhythm that's often missing in modern blockbusters. And then there's the music. James Horner's score is a masterpiece in its own right. It's bold, romantic, and heroic, perfectly capturing the spirit of Zorro. Whether it's the triumphant fanfare of the main theme, or the tender, sweeping melodies during the romantic moments, the music elevates every scene that it touches. The score doesn't just complement the action, it becomes part of the storytelling. It's what makes you want to cheer when Zorro saves the day, or get teary-eyed during the emotional moments. It's an integral part of the film's magic.
Do you know where I might find you?
You know, Zorro. It could be anywhere.
So, why doesn't The Mask of Zorro get the recognition it deserves? Perhaps it's because it came out in a time when CGI-heavy blockbusters were taking over. But in many ways, that's exactly why it still stands the test of time. It's a film with heart, craftsmanship, and a deep respect for its audience. This is a movie that reminds us why we go to the cinema in the first place, to be thrilled, to be moved, to be inspired. The Mask of Zorro isn't just a great Zorro movie, it's a great movie, period. In the end, The Mask of Zorro is more than just a great adventure film. It's a reminder of what Hollywood can achieve when it combines heart, craftsmanship, and a little bit of magic. So if you haven't seen it in a while, do yourself a favour and revisit this gem. Trust me, it's worth it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Viva Zorro.